Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 10 of the Future Ready Librarians podcast series, Leading from the Library. This is a podcast for all librarians wherever you are in your journey. It is filled with amazing guests, important topics, and engaging conversations that will inspire, engage, and support all of us as future ready librarians. I am your host, Shannon McClintock Miller. I am the district teacher librarian at Van Meter Community School in Van Meter, Iowa, and serve as the Future Ready Librarians leader. I have the pleasure of working within my library and school community and also with others around the country and world through Future Ready Librarian events, conferences, consulting, writing, and more. I am honored to bring these voices and the work of others to our podcast and to all of you. Well, we're in for a treat today because we get to have a new librarian on with their administrator. This is going to be such a fun, great conversation. And we've had Blake on before, who used to be a librarian, and now he's an administrator. You'll hear his story in a minute. But he has a new librarian, Andrea. And when I saw this on social media and knew that this was happening, I was like, we have to invite them on because I think Blake in himself is in such a unique role. But now to have a librarian that he can be there and mentor and help to turn, your library program now into something even new because you have a new person, I think is just so great and unique. So thank you guys for joining us today.
Yep, great to be back.
I love it. So let's start with Andrea and have you introduce yourself and give us a little background about what you have been doing and where you came from before you are in this library.
Well, thank you for inviting me here, by the way. And this is my 13th year in education. I have taught third grade, second grade, 10 years in kindergarten, and I've always loved books. I've always loved reading. So the opportunity came up to go back to school and get my librarian endorsement. So I went for it. I finished it in August, and then this position came up, and I jumped on it.
That's great. I love that. Lucky you. And
Yeah.
If you went to Rebecca, where one of our mutual friends, Shannon Lindsay Kimmery, is one of her teachers.
oh, very
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. Well, and Blake,
Yeah.
give a little background about yourself.
So this is my 12th year as a professional. I worked 4 years for the district before that. This is my 12th year. I was a classroom teacher, and then I spent 9 years in the library. And then last year I transitioned to administration role. I love being a school librarian. I love the school library, but this role came open, and I am certified for that. And I thought that I would take it because I think it's a unique thing for an administrator, a librarian, to become an administrator. And I thought, well, I can advocate for school librarians and school libraries even more now.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so exciting, not just for your school, but for others around the country, like when they can see that support. And so just being on the podcast today and talking about administrative support, not only for a new librarian, but also just for librarians in general, I think is what we should focus on today. And I think starting from, I would love to know, like, Andrea, you're new in this role and you have Blake, which is amazing. Like, just, starting and how from the beginning administrators can truly support new librarians.
Well, I have known and heard that many librarians, they feel alone because they're the only one in the whole building. And to have the support and somebody who understands has been a tremendous help. It is, anytime I have a question, I'll just send him a message and he's right there as soon as he can to offer that support. So that really makes a difference in a new role as a librarian.
Yeah, and Blake, so did you have things on your list when Andrea started? Like, I would love to know that too, because even when we think about administrators, and even just that evaluation and advocacy and things that we do, I'm sure that you probably had some goals too in mind.
Yeah, so I think that it's unique that I have been a librarian before, like I said, and it's just like a principal's been a classroom teacher. They can provide great mentorship, and for the new teachers, I can do that because I was a classroom teacher, but I'm unique because I can help her in this new role. And when she first started, I said, please don't worry about making this library your own. The librarian we had before, him and I had worked together, and we came into some partnerships and stuff, and were able to remodel our library. So it's set the way it is. But I said, you're the librarian now, and I will be here to support you and help you any way that I can. But know that this is your library. Do your displays, rearrange it how you want to, do your own programming, do all of those different things to make it your own. And I wanted to make sure for her to know that up front, so that she wouldn't feel like she couldn't make it her own. So I think that it's really worked out great because she knows she can text me. I'm not in and out there bothering her, but if she needs something, she can reach out to do that. And it's a unique perspective being an administrator because I was a enrichment teacher or related arts teacher or special teachers, whatever you call it in your school, because I have that perspective for all of them. So when it comes to band teachers or PE teachers, computer science teachers, whatever, I can help my principal understand our roles a little bit more and kind of advocate for them where I was in that role. And sometimes I feel like related arts teachers, special teachers are kind of left out, not by on purpose. It's just because you're so focused on the academic rigor, you forget about that. So I think that that's a unique perspective that I can bring to the table as well.
I think so too. And I think that another cool thing is that you get to advocate for like collaboration, and that's always, I think, one of the most fulfilling parts of my job is the collaboration I do. And oftentimes it's a tough thing. And so having an administrator that's advocating and also just like, really supporting that has to make a huge difference as well.
Yep, I think
Mhm.
so, and that's what when we first met, Andrea, my principal, and I, we talked to her. We said, number one, we want you to focus on spreading that book joy, helping our kids love to read and getting them books that they want to read. But then the next thing is that collaboration and making sure that you have time to do that. So in her schedule, she does have time, so that she can actually do that, and it's part of her evaluation. So she needs to be able to get it in. And I think Andrea can speak to it, but I think that she's already coming up with some ideas, and teachers are really excited to have her there to work with.
Oh, that's awesome.
The teachers have been really welcoming, and I believe having Blake there, he has fostered and kept up the library, and the teachers were really excited to be able to get a librarian in there. And we just jumped right into collaboration because the first day or two he was like, "Oh, I have a teacher that wants to talk to you about something." So we jumped right into it, and I was so thankful for that because he fostered that collaboration with the teachers.
Yeah, I always think that that is such a neat thing. And I have really supportive administrators who are constantly thinking about how they can make connections, And I think sometimes maybe administrators don't understand like that. And if they, because I feel like for the most part, they would be so supportive and, try to help with those connections and great collaborations. And so anything that, we can do, and when I see things that not only you, Blake, but your principal posts too, Your school reminds me a lot of mine, and I think that it's just you can tell it's a really special place.
Yeah, Melissa is wonderful. I've learned so much from her and strengthened my administration from her. So I think that it's just a trickle down effect of how I can strengthen and help our teachers and librarians and everybody like that. It is a wonderful place to be, in my opinion.
I think it's
I agree. As a newcomer to that environment, it has been such an amazing place to go into. It's the culture is just so tight knit. They are a family there.
you're lucky to be there, right?
Yes.
So I have to think too, Andrea. I'm sure that, Blake's saying like, do things that you want to do and programming that is, dear to your heart. I can hear that in him. So do you have any big plans on things that you want to do, ideas that you want to bring into your space yet?
Well, with Valentine's Day over, I've been kind of redecorating a little bit. We got in some new books, so I made a display with the new books. I was excited about that. And just looking forward to doing some lessons, more
Yeah.
lessons. As he said before, we've been out quite a bit for weather related, illness related things. So I'm really anxious to get in there and get into more lessons also.
I'm sure you are. That's what I was wondering, like when you said that about all of the weather and coming in and then getting Blake in there to be like a guest reader or something. I'm sure he likes to do that. Oh, I love that. That is so awesome. And so, I think too like about my own school and I think about, even just like administrators being part of, what happens in the library and being supportive of that. Like what does it look like too in your school when it comes to even like your community? I know, Blake, that you've done so many things in your library. You mentioned that earlier, like the involvement of your parents and community too. That has to really help with this connection as well.
Yeah, I think so. And like Andrea's not got to meet a lot of our people yet, the community, but our community really does support the program. She will get to meet them coming up. Finally, we set the book fair date. We finally got that taken care of, so she's going to get to be doing her first couple of book fairs, and so she'll get to meet a lot of people. And then when we have STEM nights and um, how literacy nights and things like that, a lot of our community comes out. So she'll be getting to meet a lot of people then.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, and that goes hand in hand too with just getting your support because when administrators can see the importance of those type of events and connections, like that's going to be so great for you, Andrea, just to make even more connections with the families.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I teach in a small community, and so very similar, like, just being able to make those connections through book fairs or events or things that we have. It's crazy to think about that it's already February and we're looking forward, to what's going to happen in the next few months as we get ready for even like summer reading and things.
Mhm. Yeah, she already did a fun thing too. She planned our literacy week, so she might can talk to that. So we're going to do a whole week of literacy week tied into the book fair plus STEM night that night, and she's come up with some March Madness stuff to do with it. So she might can speak to that, but that's super exciting too, and again, part of the community aspect.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
And we have book blast coming up very
Oh, we
soon too.
talk about book classes.
I want to know what that is.
So you want to talk? Do you want to talk about that, Andrea? The book blast?
You go ahead because this is my very first one, so I'll let you.
Oh, book. I don't know if it's a national company or not, but it's a company that you kind of have to give the emails to, and they get donations for their books, and every kid gets a free book, and then based on how many donations they get, then they provide them with a whole packet of hardback books that they get to take home, and they'll get prizes and along with the books. So I did it when I was in the primary library, and then our feeder school, Ellen Myers, wanted us to do it. So it's been on the calendar since last year. Wanted us to partner with them, so it'd be all the kids would be able to participate. So it's a fun event. It's through Books Are Fun. I don't know if you've ever heard of that company or not, but they provide all the stuff, the graphics, and all that, and we just kind of facilitate it. So she's going to get to experience Book Blast. But you had Book Blast at your former school too, right, Andrea?
We did. I experienced it as a teacher.
Yeah.
So I know that end of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing the librarian end of it also.
Yes, I think y'all made the news even because you did so great. Was that right?
They did, yeah. They did wonderful with it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to post about it so I can watch this. And Andrea, I want to know what you're doing for Battle of the Books. That's, I think, something that people love to hear about too.
Well, that's new to me also. So I will be referring to Blake quite a bit period.
Love it.
It is coming up. Is it in May, Blake? Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Talk about your order. You got to order the books for it, so we got to use the title away and talk about that.
Yep. And that's another good thing that you have, Blake, is that you have somebody in your school who understands destiny, tidal wave, all of the things, because being a new librarian, like even just weeding a book, like the process of that, you're really lucky to have him.
Yes. I placed my first book order about a week ago, and I messaged Blake and told him that, I'd gotten that book order ready. And a little bit later, he came down the hall. How does it feel to have ordered your first books?
Oh, that's awesome.
He is really encouraging. I really do appreciate that.
She learned the value of ordering them pre-processed because in library school, even when I was in library school, and Shannon, I'm sure it was for you too, it's hard to learn all the hands-on things. So this past week I helped her put the plastic, what's it called? I forgot. Anyways, the plastic on the book covers and wrap them. And so she said, yes, I'm going to order them all pre-processed.
Yes, it's going to be worth it.
Totally worth it. And you think of we were talking yesterday, I was at a conference about follet bound books, like the difference between a paperback and like all those things that, that if there's nobody there to tell you these little tips and stuff, I think that is something that's really tricky. So you're very, very lucky. I can't wait to revisit this conversation with you guys in a year. So then we can talk about everything that
she's already great, so she'll be professionally pro.
Yes, I know. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, you guys, I'm so happy that you were on, and I think it's always so
inspiring. She does need to share that she was Tassel Librarian of the Month this month for February, the Tennessee Association of School Librarians.
That's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the nomination also from Blake.
Oh, that's so awesome. And hopefully, Blake, I get to meet Andrea this summer when I'm there for the Future Ready
I need to know about that. We're super excited to be doing that too. Yep.
Yeah, so I can't even wait. But I think that it's just amazing what you do. And it's great because you're a huge advocate, for libraries. But I hope that some administrators listen to this so, we can spread the word about, even if you haven't been a librarian, just about how to support and be helpful and really champion that person that's in the library because we all need that.
Yep. I agree.
I love it. So tell us where people can find you online and watch this great story unfold.
So I'm online at the Lit Principal. I changed all my social media handles to that: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those places. I was a traveling librarian, but I thought that literacy principal added well on that, so you can follow me on there. So I'll be sharing away for that.
Thank
And then,
you.
are you on socials besides Facebook?
I am. I'm on Facebook. I know we keep talking about I need an Instagram, so
I told her, I said
I'm in
Instagram's
the
a
process.
perfect, yes, it's a perfect PD place because you don't even have to post if you're afraid to do that. Just kind of be there to scroll and get book ideas and all the things. That's its perfect place for it.
Best. And it's like little videos and pictures. So I take when I'm like looking for new books, like I will, and I'm on Instagram, I'll like take a screenshot of it. So then when I'm sitting down and I'm ordering like books on Tidal Wave and looking for like ideas for projects, even, I just go back to my pictures and then I can see all that great stuff. So when you get
Yep.
on Instagram, let me know.
Yeah, we will. And that is something what you just mentioned. That's a really good idea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's very helpful. I know you can save them in a folder, but it's easier for me to just take a little screenshot and then I have these ideas for books and take lots of pictures. So even when you're at a bookstore or in another library or something, like it's a good little tip. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much, Andrea. It was so lovely to meet you. And Blake, as always, my friend, it's great to see you too.
Yep. Always. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
As always, thank you to all of our listeners for joining us for this episode of the Future Ready Librarian podcast series, Leading from the Library. And a very special thank you to our sponsors, Follett. You make a difference in our libraries, schools, and within our lives, and that of our students every day. We appreciate everything you do. I hope you can take what you learned in today's podcast and put it to use within your practice as a future ready librarian. If I can support you in any way, please feel free to reach out to me on X or Instagram at Shannon M. Miller or to my email at shannonmcclintockmiller@gmail.com. I am always happy to help and support each and every one of you. Until next time, friends, keep finding ways to lead within and from your library.